this video we are looking at Thickfreakness by the Black Keys. We are going to look at all guitar parts including the solo. Lots of great stuff in this song. We've got some trusty power chords, of course, A minor pentatonic riffs, some unison bends in the solo, and some nice phrasing and articulation there. I believe he's doing all of this with his fingers on the right hand, and then the solo he's playing with a slide. I'm doing this all with a pick and no slide, so you can do it however you choose to do it, but just showing it in a more traditional setting, I guess. So let's jump right into the intro here. Intro probably going to be the most challenging part outside of the solo, just because it's more notes than any other riff that you're seeing in the song, and it's also swing 16th notes. And doesn't matter that 16th notes, you could just think of it as swing, but that does tend to give some folks a little bit of trouble if you haven't played it before. So it's kind of got this hop along feel, that kind of long short feel instead of straight ahead. So that's going to be something to pay close attention to, because if you flip it around, then things start to kind of sound funky. But we're just living in good old A minor pentatonic. We want to call them boxes, box 1 and 5. That's really where all of that is happening. So starting here in 5th position with a grace note hammer on, string 4 there, and then you're going to walk this down with fingers 3, 2, and 1, slide to fret 3, back to fret 5, and then I'm going to do a double pull off here. Alright, I only pick fret 5, double pull off, and then jump to string 6, fret 3, and 5 there, and then 2 open, string 6. So all of that together. And then it comes back up to start the exact same way, but ends a little bit differently. That's all the same, and then grace note hammer, and then double pull off again, and it ends right there on string 6, fret 3. The third little chunk of the intro is the same as the first. And then we come back up, start all over again, but it's going to end differently. This is going to be the last riff of the intro. I'm going to play this fret 5 again, but I'm going to play that, slide up to fret 7, and then I'm going to put finger 1 on string 4, fret 5, and pluck that and get those two notes to ring out together. Sorry. Like that. So I'm letting this one ring out. I put my index finger down, and then I'll just pluck through both of them again. So that whole intro, slow tempo put together. Everything there is fingers 1 and 3, except for I use my second finger right there on that 6th fret when traveling down chromatically. Make sure you get some down up picking. Like I said, listen for the swing feel. Play it slowly, and then another thing to work on with that part will be knowing when it's coming up, so you don't feel rushed or like you're falling behind. Just listening to the song is always a great thing to do. so you know what that form is going to be and you know how to anticipate it. So the next part that comes up after the intro is this comping portion on this A5 chord. So I'm going to be using my index finger to bar strings 4 and 3 at the 2nd fret there. And of course, open string 5. You can kind of think of it as, you know, pre-chorus, pre-verse. It's just kind of filling in the gaps there. But it's a great little comping pattern and very articulated. And what I mean by that is it's got these strong punches of this A5 chord. So like I said, he's playing it with his fingers. That probably dictates you know, the sound partially. But what I'm doing is just picking down on string 5 open and then a really aggressive pluck up. Not that aggressive, but... and then immediately stopping it. And that's what I mean by, you know, it's articulated. That's the specific articulation of the comping pattern. Long bass note, and then a quick little, not as aggressive as I did a second ago, but you can make it pop a little bit, right? And then what's going to follow after that is the bass line, open string 6, string 6 fret 3, string 6 fret 4. And I'm doing that middle finger, ring finger there. And then open string 5 again. That's just leading you back into repeating it. So you could do it both down, down, but I just, to my ears and the way it feels, it just locks in that groove with down on the bass, up on the chord. And then you're back in the A5 chord. And then I'm just going to do, I'm not really trying to bend the string, but I'm on string 3 fret 2 and just going to do like a little roll off. So you might get a slight little distortion of the string and the pitch. And I do the same thing on string 4. String 3 fret 2 to pull off to open. String 4 fret 2 pull off to fret 2 pull off to the open string. And then string 5 fret 3 with my middle finger, pulling down on that, bending it. And then it's starting all over, so that nice and slow. So you might use another fingering other than the index finger bar on strings 4 and 3. Say that's probably the most common way of doing it, but it makes it real easy to use the rest of my fingers to just kind of mute the strings when I need to. I'm also doing that with my right hand, but right, I'm just kind of relaxing here, and that's a nice little kind of device to have ready to go because we use a lot of muting on guitar for sure. All right, so that brings us to the verse section where we're actually just going to be playing the vocal line. So he's playing what he's singing. And pretty much going to be working around a D5, D7 chord here. So this is kind of the arrangement you're going to see my fingers in. So what I want to point out here is finger 1 is going to be locked in on string 2 fret 1, and my middle finger, finger 2, is going to be on string 3 fret 2 almost the entire time. I'm going to be fixed. This is going to help me maneuver around. The less I have to move, the easier things are going to be. If I never need to lift these fingers off, then why would I want to do that? Because then it's just going to be more effort that I have to put in unnecessarily. So let me just kind of walk through the notes that we're going to be using throughout this portion. Then I'll just play it arrhythmically, note for note. And then I'll start putting the rhythm in and maybe call some string numbers, fret numbers out along the way, but trying to avoid that just because it gets a little messy and you know, it interferes a little bit. But so I'm going to go from low to high. We're going to be using string 5 fret 3, string 4 open, string 3 open, string 3 fret 2, string 2 fret 1, string 2 fret 3, string 1 open, and string 1 fret 3. Okay. And there's also going to be an instance of strumming a couple chords. So I'm going to have my D5 chord right here. I've got fingers 2 and 4 there on string 3 fret 2 and string 2 fret 3. Okay. And then I'm strumming strings 4, 3, and 2. And then I've got fingers 1 and 2 on string 3 fret 2 again and string 2 fret 1. That's a D7 chord. Okay, so like I said, arrhythmically to start out. D5 chord, D7 chord, okay, I'm going to just speed that up a little bit. Now with some rhythm. That's going to go back in that A5 chord a couple more times. And kind of at speed-ish. That's it, guys. So plant that index finger, plant that middle finger for the most part outside of the little hammer on there. Yeah, I'm just doing a hammer on there, and then when I go to the A5 chord, I'm doing a little pull off. That's going to really help you navigate that. Keep those fingers close. That's going to help your pick navigate to the right strings, because if that left hand moves too much, the right hand is going to be kind of skating all over the place, too most likely, or trying to anchor or something, which we want to always avoid tension. And the last thing I want to mention there is just listen to the song carefully for the timing, right? You can hear it in the vocals and what he's singing, and in the guitar. Listen to both, and you're just going to work on imitating that, right? All right, then that brings us to the chorus. Chorus is super short. We've got an E major chord that we're going to strum all the way through to that high E string. That's what we want to kind of pronounce a little bit more. Then I'm going to throw my pinky down on string 2 fret 3, which turns it into an E7 chord, and I'm just going to strum through to string 2. So I'm kind of muting string 1 with my pinky there, and it is on that 3rd fret of string 2. That's what you want to hear. And then string 6 fret 3 bend. Okay, and then jump up to a D5 chord just like we did in the verse section. I'm using fingers 2 and 4. Feel free to try some other fingers. This may not look like the most appealing if you're not used to using the pinky, but it really is just natural for the hand, right? The only way you get used to using the pinky is by using it. But your hand is just going to be so much more relaxed, right? A lot of people try and do fingers 2 and 3. These guys don't like to be separated that much, and it just gets a little funky, or you might end up too far back in the fret. You get some buzz, not comfortable for the hand. I recommend 2 and 4 there. D5 chord, and then put the index finger down, take the pinky off, D7 chord. And then gonna take my 3rd finger here, grace note slide from string 2 fret 3 to fret 5, finger 1 on fret 3, slide to fret 1, and then middle finger, string 3, fret 2, pull off to open. Back into the A5 chord there, so all that together. And another reason to use that, like I use my third finger there to bend string 6, fret 3, and those fingers are just there, right? They're like ready to hop into that. So, one more time. E major, E7, and that G, string 6, fret 3, D5, D7, brings us to the solo. Basically just going to be living inside of A minor blues box 1, 5th and 7th frets. A lot of this really just happening on strings 4 and 3. We've got some slides, bends, hammer-ons, pull-offs in this short solo. We've got a little bit of everything. So I think the key to this is the articulation, which is a great thing to take away from any solo. Because I think it's just one of the biggest misconceptions about improvisation and soloing is that it's about the quantity of notes that you play, and it certainly isn't. That can be a cool thing, and it's something that you want to have as part of your solos in many cases. But articulation goes a long way to create themes and generate variety in your riffs, where you can play 2 notes, but you can play those 2 notes a number of ways, right? Whether you slide or hammer on and stop the string, or pick it really hard or soft, or many different ways of doing that. So that's kind of what I take away from this solo, where it's fitting the groove nicely and has this grace note hammer on that it keeps coming back to on string 4, fret 5 to 7. That's kind of always where it's anchored, and then it goes into these little runs and bends and stuff. So, all right, string 4, fret 5, hammer on to 7. That's how it starts. Bend string 3 here, fret 7. And I'm gonna try to avoid calling all these fret numbers out, but just kind of illustrate where my hand is. Bend here, and a pull off. String 4, fret 5 again. Okay, all of that together. Okay, and then moving on, same thing again here. We're gonna do that quick little grace note hammer. And then this little kind of wavy bend here. Cool little riff. So that's a bend, up, down, pull off, pick, pull off again, pick, bend up, down, pull off, string 4, fret 7. And what follows that? Another grace note hammer on from fret 5 to 7 on string 4. And then here we're going to slide up 7 to 9. And then play 8 on fret 8 on string 2. And then we're back. Another hammer on. That went up to string 3, fret 5. And then another hammer on. String 5, fret 7. So that's a cool part. It's not a whole lot happening, but you listen to the way that those notes are being sounded. just playing those notes short, like that. I can't remember if that's exactly how he does it, but that's how I'm hearing it in my head right now, and it sounds good, right? It works. It's communicating something instead of falls flat, right? And then to finish it off, we're going to do pull off 7 to 5, pull off 7 to 5, get to fret 3 here, bend it, open string 5, and then a unison bend. You're going to have finger 1 on string 2, fret 5, and finger 3 on string 3, fret 7. So I'm picking through both of those strings. I'm only bending string 3 though, and that's where that kind of interference of sound is coming from. We're not quite getting that all the way up to that E, and you get that sound effect. So do the solo a couple times, a couple different speeds, super slow the first time. Up to speed. That is pretty much it, guys. If you don't want to learn the solo and you want something to play on top of it, it's really just an A5 and a G5 chord right here, and I believe it's something like a lot of muted ranking. So all I'm doing there is just I'm keeping these fingers in place for my power chord, and then lifting my index finger up to get that open E to the A, open E to the G. And those fingers are just kind of guiding me around. And you can do it down up or all down. So just going back and forth between those two chords, very simple accompaniment, and it sounds good too. It's fun to play. There you go, guys. That is everything. Have fun with this one. Great song to play. Lots to learn from it. Like I said in the beginning, be careful with your swing 16th notes. If you're not familiar with it or just swing feel in general, just listen to it. And what I tell my students to do a lot is sing. I'm not a singer. Don't have a good voice, but just singing is going to connect you with the music. Your vocal cords are way more capable of doing things intuitively and naturally. And if you can sing it, then you can hear it, and that is going to, may seem counterintuitive, but it's going to make it easier to play because things are connected through our ears so much with music, and we can't make it just about tab or watching somebody else do it. All of those things come together, but I think the most important component is listening and trying to interpret what we're listening and then translate that. And of course, listen to the song to get the song form down so you know which part is coming up and there are no surprises there. Then you start playing with the audio, start slow, speed it up little by little. It gets easier each time. I'll stop talking so you guys can go have some fun with it. See you next time.